Hey guys, it's Casey here. I am going to today be showing off my scrapbook that I made for Ed Psych. It's a final and it's based on basically learning principles that we've gone over during the semester. I have 7 of them and then I have my citations at the end. I will go through all of them very briefly and then individual ones that I am gonna, some of them I'll talk more in detail about them. So here's the beginning slide. First slide, we have operant conditioning. What this is basically giving incentive to do work, especially whenever certain people don't have that incentive to get them to work hard, to get them to put forth their best effort. So this is important towards what I want to do as a special education teacher, because a lot of students that struggle with special needs don't have that encouragement to back them up to, put forth their best work. So it would be my job and I would need to take on the role of encouraging them and, helping them to do their best work. Next up, we have accommodations. Accommodations are a huge role in the special education community. This is what allows students to be able to do as well as their peers on tests, even if they have a learning disability or a regular, disability, ADHD, autism, etc. So basically, this accommodation is created by the special ed teacher, the principal usually, and then a teacher or two that student has, and then the parent of that student. And then an IEP is created, and then that student will be able to have certain accommodations on tests, homework, quizzes, etc. And this will be my job to be doing that, because as a special ed teacher, once I get to that point in my life, I'll be the one creating the IEPs for my students, deciding what they need. Do they need extra time? Do they need to go to a separate area to do their test, etc. Next up, we have metacognition. This is basically just the idea of thinking about your thinking. It's like a next level thinking opportunity for students. And some people don't get it for a while. It comes with maturity, but it's really just the idea of thinking about your thinking. It's that next step of psychology. It's not just thinking so that you can pass a test. It's thinking so that you can take in information and learn it. Again, with special ed students, I'm sure that a lot of students who struggle with special needs, especially if this impacts their grades or their tests and quizzes, etc., they'll probably either they might have they might just learn the information for the test and then forget it, and that's something that I would have to try to help them avoid if possible. Next up, we have identity versus confusion. This is on one of the Erickson stages of child development, and basically this stage happens during adolescence, people going through puberty, everything, bodies changing, minds changing. This is around 9th to 12th grade, I'd say, which is also the area in which I want to pursue in the future, which is why I chose it out of all of the stages of development. So during this stage, a student is trying to figure out who they are, who their personality is, what their skills or talents are, and what makes them unique as a person. And my role as a teacher, a special ed teacher, is to encourage them, make sure that they're doing the things that they like, make sure that they're following what they want to do, and if they have talents, to encourage them to keep working hard, because it's up to the teachers and it's up to parents to encourage their kids so that they can get a sense of identity and a sense of who they are as a person, what makes them unique. Next up, we have education of gifted students. That's kind of piggybacking off the last one. If a student is gifted, we need to make sure that they're being taken care of, that they're not more than a kid who's not gifted. But we shouldn't just let gifted students fly under the radar, because it's very important for a student who's good at something to be able to enhance that skill and keep going with it so that they can make something of it. Special needs students, especially, a lot of kids who have special needs will struggle with a lot of things in their life, but then have one or two things that they're really, really good at. And my job and what I'd hope that I could do would be to, enable these kids to continue working hard and to further their skills in this. Next up, we have creating an emotionally intelligent classroom. I'm running out of time a little bit, so I'll try to make these ones brief, but with special needs students specifically, I always try to tune it back to that just because that's where I hope to be going in the future. Special needs students, a lot of them had difficulty with emotional intelligence, empathy, sympathy, feeling other people's emotions and realizing that other people have emotions, not just you. That's something that a lot of people struggle with, especially with things like autism and ADHD. So I would have to, I would talk to them and make sure that everyone in my classroom understands, to the best of their ability, emotional intelligence, fitting in with peers, not getting in arguments, etc., because it can really be detrimental to their school life and their school experience if they go through life and they go through school not understanding certain things, sharing, working with others, other things that people learn naturally. Special needs students sometimes don't. Next, classroom management. I'm pretty sure it's the last one. It is. This one just talks about classroom management, basically, making sure that your classroom is run well, and also not just the classroom, but the students are learning and they're in their best environment. So especially since a lot of students can be disorganized, especially with people with ADHD, like me, that can get away from them very fast. Schedules calendars, due dates. So it will be my responsibility to make sure that they're all on track, make sure that everyone's doing the best that they can, and that they're on top of the ball, because if they're not, it's going to go downhill really fast, especially for people with ADHD, autism. Once you dig yourself a hole with a lack of understanding of scheduling and a lack of understanding in organization, it's really hard to dig yourself out of that hole. But yeah, that's all. Here are my citations, and thank you very much for watching.